Deception and manipulation are among the most destructive traits found in individuals who seek to control or harm others for their own benefit. Such a person often presents a false image to the world, disguising their true intentions behind a mask of kindness, charm, or even innocence. Their goal is to mislead others, gain trust, and ultimately exploit that trust to achieve personal goals. This kind of behavior can have a profound impact on relationships, workplaces, and even entire communities, as it erodes the foundation of trust and honesty that holds people together. Deceptive individuals are skilled at using words and actions to craft narratives that suit their desires, making it difficult for others to detect their true motives. One of the most common tactics used in deception is lying. A deceptive person lies not only to hide their faults, but also to manipulate situations to their advantage. They may fabricate stories, distort facts, or selectively present information that benefits them while harming others. The lies may start small, but over time they grow more complex as the person becomes more invested in maintaining their falsehoods. Eventually, they create a web of deceit that entangles both themselves and those around them, making it difficult for anyone to distinguish truth from falsehood. The consequences of such behavior can be devastating, leading to broken relationships, loss of credibility, and emotional harm to those who were misled. Manipulation, on the other hand, involves controlling or influencing others in subtle and often harmful ways. A manipulative individual understands human emotions and weaknesses and uses this knowledge to their advantage. They might play on people's fears, insecurities, or desires to get what they want. Often they make others feel guilty, obligated. Manipulators can be highly persuasive, using flattery, false promises, or even emotional blackmail to achieve their objectives. Their tactics are rarely obvious, which makes it challenging for their victims to recognize they are being manipulated until significant damage has been done. Such individuals often have a self-centered mindset and view relationships as opportunities to gain something rather than as meaningful connections. They see people as tools that can be used and discarded once their purpose is served. This mindset creates an unhealthy and toxic environment where genuine care and concern are replaced with exploitation and betrayal. The victims of deception and manipulation often experience confusion, self-doubt, and emotional distress as they struggle to make sense of the situation and question their own judgment. Another aspect of deception and manipulation is the ability to shift blame onto others. Instead of taking responsibility for their actions, such individuals deflect criticism and make others feel at fault. They may twist events in their favor and portray themselves as victims to gain sympathy while casting blame on innocent parties. This behavior can create significant tension and conflict, as it sows seeds of distrust and division within families, friendships, and professional settings. In many cases, deceptive individuals also rely on secrecy and concealment to maintain control over their manipulative schemes. They might withhold important information, mislead others by omission, or even create distractions to divert attention away from their true intentions. This calculated approach allows them to operate undetected for long periods, gradually increasing their influence over their surroundings. Despite their cunning nature, deceptive and manipulative individuals are often exposed in the long run. Truth has a way of coming to light, and their actions eventually catch up with them. People who have been deceived learn valuable lessons and become more cautious in trusting others. However, the damage left behind can be long-lasting, leaving scars that take time to heal. To protect oneself from deception and manipulation, it is important to develop strong judgment, critical thinking skills, and the ability to recognize red flags early on. Being cautious, asking questions, and trusting instincts can help prevent falling victim to such harmful behavior. In the end, honesty and integrity always prevail over deceit. And building relationships based on trust and transparency is the key to a fulfilling and positive life. Jealousy and envy are powerful emotions that can deeply affect individuals and their relationships with others. These feelings arise when someone perceives that another person possesses something they desire, whether it be success, beauty, wealth, or even relationships. While jealousy and envy are often used interchangeably, they have subtle differences. Jealousy usually involves the fear of losing something valuable to another person, such as attention or affection, while envy is the feeling of resentment towards someone who has something one does not. Both emotions, when left unchecked, can lead to negative thoughts and destructive behaviors that harm not only the person experiencing them, but also those around them. A person consumed by jealousy and envy constantly compares themselves to others and feels dissatisfied with their own achievements and possessions. Instead of focusing on their personal growth, they become preoccupied with what others have, leading to feelings of inadequacy and bitterness. This constant comparison creates an unhealthy mindset where the person believes they are in a competition with everyone around them. They begin to view others' success as a threat rather than an inspiration, which fosters resentment and hostility. Over time, this negative outlook can damage their self-esteem and prevent them from achieving their own potential. People driven by jealousy and envy often struggle to celebrate the success of others. Instead of feeling happy for someone else's achievements, they may feel irritated, frustrated, or even angry. They may downplay the efforts of others, criticize their success, or spread negativity to diminish their accomplishments. This behavior can create tension in relationships, as their inability to appreciate others' happiness makes them appear unkind and untrustworthy. Friends, colleagues, and family members may distance themselves, sensing the toxic energy that jealousy and envy bring into the relationship. In many cases, jealousy and envy can lead to manipulative behavior. A person who feels threatened by someone else's success may try to sabotage them in subtle ways, such as spreading rumors, creating obstacles, or withholding support. They may seek to undermine the confidence of others to maintain a sense of superiority. This kind of behavior not only hurts the targeted individuals, but also exposes the insecurity and low self-worth of the person experiencing jealousy. Instead of focusing on their own progress, they waste energy trying to bring others down, ultimately leading to their own downfall. The presence of jealousy and envy can also have a significant impact on mental and emotional well-being. Constantly feeling envious of others can result in anxiety, stress, and even depression. It creates an internal struggle where a person feels they are never good enough and are always falling short. They may feel trapped in a cycle of negativity, unable to appreciate their own strengths and blessings. This emotional burden can lead to isolation, as they may withdraw from social interactions out of fear of comparison or judgment. Overcoming jealousy and envy requires self-awareness and a conscious effort to change one's perspective. It is important to recognize that everyone has their own journey, challenges, and successes. Instead of comparing oneself to others, focusing on personal growth and setting individual goals can help cultivate a sense of fulfillment and contentment. Practicing gratitude can also shift attention away from what others have and highlight the positive aspects of one's own life. Ultimately, jealousy and envy are natural emotions, but they should be managed and transformed into positive energy. When individuals learn to appreciate their own unique qualities and strive for their own goals, they free themselves from the toxic cycle of comparison and resentment. Choosing to focus on personal progress and maintaining a positive outlook can lead to a more fulfilling and harmonious life. Cruelty and lack of empathy are among the most harmful traits a person can possess, leading to pain and suffering for those around them. A cruel person deliberately causes harm, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, without any sense of remorse or compassion. They may take pleasure in others' suffering or simply be indifferent to it, showing a complete disregard for the absence of empathy makes them incapable of understanding or caring about how their actions affect those around them. This combination of cruelty and emotional detachment can result in toxic relationships, damaged self-esteem in others, and a general atmosphere of fear and distrust. Cruel individuals often exhibit their behavior in different forms, ranging from verbal abuse and manipulation to physical harm and emotional neglect. They may use harsh words, insults, or belittlement to break someone's confidence and sense of self-worth. This type of emotional cruelty can be just as damaging as physical harm, leaving lasting scars on a person's mind and heart. So, in some cases, cruelty manifests in more subtle ways, such as ignoring someone's needs, dismissing their feelings, or intentionally excluding them from important events or decisions. These actions send a clear message that the victim's emotions and experiences are insignificant, further deepening their feelings of isolation and hurt. A person who lacks empathy is unable or unwilling to put themselves in someone else's shoes. They do not feel remorse for their actions, nor do they recognize the impact of their behavior on others. This emotional void can stem from various factors, including upbringing, past experiences, or personality traits. Some individuals may have developed a hardened attitude due to their own suffering, while others may lack empathy due to selfishness and a desire for control or power. Regardless of the reasons, their actions can be deeply damaging to those who come into contact with them, leading to emotional distress and even long-term trauma. Cruelty and lack of empathy are not limited to personal relationships. They can also be seen in professional settings, schools, and society at large. In workplaces, an individual who lacks empathy may exploit colleagues, take credit for others' work, or create a toxic environment through intimidation and manipulation. In schools, bullying is a common form of cruelty that thrives in the absence of empathy. Bullies often target those who are vulnerable, using their words and actions to inflict pain without any concern for the emotional damage they cause. On a larger scale, societal issues such as discrimination and injustice often arise from a lack of empathy, where people fail to understand or acknowledge the struggles of others. The impact of cruelty and a lack of empathy can be profound, leading to severe emotional consequences for victims. People who experience cruelty may develop anxiety, depression, and a deep sense of worthlessness. They may struggle with trust issues and find it difficult to form healthy relationships in the future. In extreme cases, the emotional pain caused by cruelty can lead individuals to withdraw from society, develop self-destructive behaviors, or suffer from mental health disorders. The long-term effects can be life-altering, affecting their ability to function and thrive in various aspects of life. Despite the damaging effects of cruelty and lack of empathy, it is possible for individuals to change if they recognize the harm they are causing and make a conscious effort to improve. Developing empathy requires self-reflection, a willingness to listen, and a genuine effort to understand the feelings of others. Practicing kindness, showing appreciation, and offering support can help replace cruelty with compassion. Encouraging open communication and fostering an environment of understanding can also contribute to the development of empathy in individuals who struggle with it. As a society, promoting empathy and discouraging cruelty should be a priority. Teaching children the importance of kindness, respect, and consideration for others can help shape a future generation that values compassion over cruelty. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, can make a significant difference in creating a more empathetic and supportive world where people feel valued and understood. Greed and selfishness are deeply rooted human traits that can have destructive consequences on individuals and society. Greed is an insatiable desire for more, whether it be wealth, power, status, or material possessions, often at the expense of others. Selfishness, on the other hand, is the prioritization of one's own needs and desires above those of others, without consideration for their well-being. When these two traits combine, they create a mindset where a person is solely focused on their personal gain, disregarding fairness, morality, and the impact of their actions on others. Such behavior can lead to broken relationships, social injustice, and a lack of trust within communities. A greedy person is never satisfied with what they have. No matter how much they accumulate, they always crave more, believing that their happiness and success depend on acquiring more wealth, influence, or recognition. This constant pursuit of more can blind them to the needs and struggles of others, making them indifferent to the suffering they may cause. They may exploit others, take advantage of opportunities without considering ethical boundaries, and prioritize their interests above everything else. Greed creates a cycle where the more a person acquires, the more they desire, leading to an endless pursuit that offers no true satisfaction or contentment. Selfishness, closely linked to greed, manifests in everyday actions and decisions. A selfish individual focuses primarily on their own comfort and success, often ignoring the needs of those around them. They may refuse to share resources, time, or effort, believing that helping others will somehow diminish their own well-being. In relationships, selfishness can lead to one-sided interactions where one person constantly takes without giving anything in return. Over time, this creates resentment and emotional distance as those affected feel undervalued and unappreciated. Greed and selfishness are often fueled by a fear of scarcity, the belief that resources are limited and must be hoarded to ensure personal security. This mindset drives people to accumulate beyond their needs, often at the expense of fairness and equality. In workplaces, for example, a greedy and selfish person may take credit for others' work, manipulate situations for their benefit, or withhold information to maintain an advantage. In business and politics, greed can result in corruption, exploitation of the vulnerable, and a widening gap between the rich and the poor. On a personal level, greed and selfishness can damage relationships with family and friends. A person who is excessively focused on their own desires may neglect their loved ones, prioritizing material success over meaningful connections. They may fail to provide emotional support, ignore the needs of their family members, and place their own goals above everything else. Over time, such behavior can lead to isolation and loneliness, as others distance themselves from a person who shows little concern for anyone but themselves. The consequences of greed and selfishness are not only limited to personal relationships, but also have a broader impact on society. When individuals prioritize their own gain without considering the well-being of others, it creates a culture of competition and inequality. The pursuit of wealth and power often leads to unethical behavior, exploitation of resources, and harm to the environment. Greed, social issues such as poverty, corruption, and economic disparity are often rooted in the actions of those driven by greed and selfishness, who place their own interests above the collective good. Ultimately, a life driven by greed and selfishness is an empty pursuit, as material possessions and power can never replace the joy that comes from genuine relationships and acts of kindness. By choosing generosity over greed and selflessness over selfishness, individuals can create a more fulfilling and harmonious life for themselves and those around them. Gossip and slander are harmful behaviors that can destroy reputations, relationships, and trust within a community. Gossip refers to the act of spreading rumors or personal information about others, often without verifying its truth. It usually involves casual conversations where details about someone's life, actions, or character are discussed in their absence. Slander, on the other hand, is a more serious form of gossip that involves intentionally spreading false and damaging statements about someone with the goal of harming their reputation. Both gossip and slander can have devastating effects, leading to misunderstandings, conflicts, and a loss of credibility for both the person being talked about and those spreading the information. People engage in gossip and slander for various reasons. Some do it out of boredom, seeking entertainment through discussing the lives of others. Others gossip as a way to feel superior, believing that talking about someone else's flaws or failures makes them appear better by comparison. In some cases, jealousy and envy drive people to spread falsehoods about others to tarnish their reputation or bring them down. Gossip can also stem from insecurity, as individuals use it to seek validation and attention by sharing exclusive or insider information. Regardless of the reasons, the damage caused by gossip and slander can be long-lasting and difficult to repair. One of the most harmful aspects of gossip is that it spreads quickly and often grows more exaggerated with each retelling. What may have started as a harmless comment can evolve into a completely false narrative that affects the target's personal and professional life. Relationships that were once built on trust and respect can quickly fall apart when rumors are spread. In workplaces, gossip can create a toxic environment where employees feel unsafe and uncertain about whom to trust. Productivity can decline as people become more focused on rumors rather than their responsibilities. In schools, gossip and slander can lead to bullying, isolation, and emotional distress for the victim, affecting their self-esteem and mental well-being. Another dangerous effect of gossip and slander is the damage it does to a person's reputation. Reputations take years to build but can be destroyed in an instant by false or exaggerated statements. Once a person's name is tarnished, it can be incredibly difficult to regain trust and credibility. Even if the rumors are later proven false, the damage is often already done, and people may continue to associate the victim with the negative information. This can lead to lost opportunities, broken relationships, and emotional pain that can take a long time to heal. In addition to harming others, gossip and slander can negatively impact the people spreading them. Those who engage in gossip often develop a reputation for being untrustworthy and unreliable. Friends and colleagues may avoid confiding in them out of fear that their private information will be shared with others. Over time, gossipers may find themselves isolated and without meaningful connections as people begin to distance themselves from their toxic behavior. Furthermore, constantly focusing on the lives of others prevents gossipers from working on their own personal growth and development. To prevent gossip and slander, it is important to practice self-control and empathy. Before sharing any information about others, it is crucial to consider whether it is true, necessary, and kind. Developing a habit of thinking before speaking can help prevent the spread of harmful rumors. Encouraging open and honest communication can also reduce the tendency to engage in gossip, as people will feel more comfortable addressing concerns directly rather than discussing them behind someone's back. In addition, building a positive and supportive environment, whether at home, work, or school, can discourage gossip and promote trust among individuals. Choosing kindness and integrity over gossip and slander leads to healthier relationships and a stronger sense of community. By focusing on personal growth and encouraging others instead of tearing them down, individuals can create an atmosphere of respect and mutual understanding. Avoiding gossip and slander not only protects others, but also helps maintain one's own dignity and trustworthiness, contributing to a more positive and supportive world. Arrogance and pride are traits that can have both positive and negative effects, but when taken to an extreme, they become destructive forces in a person's life. Arrogance is an exaggerated sense of self-importance, where an individual believes they are superior to others and acts in a condescending or dismissive manner. Pride, on the other hand, can be a positive feeling of self-respect and achievement, but when it turns into excessive pride, it becomes harmful and leads to an inability to accept criticism or acknowledge mistakes. Both arrogance and unhealthy pride can create barriers in relationships, hinder personal growth, and lead to isolation and conflict. An arrogant person often believes they are always right and that their opinions, achievements, or status make them better than others. They tend to look down on those they consider inferior and refuse to listen to different perspectives. This attitude can make it difficult for them to form meaningful relationships, as others may find their behavior off-putting and unapproachable. Arrogance can also lead to a lack of empathy, as an arrogant individual may struggle to recognize the needs and feelings of others. They may dismiss advice, refuse to seek help when needed, and assume that their way is the only right way. Over time, this mindset can prevent personal and professional growth, as they become blind to their own flaws and unwilling to learn from others. Pride, when excessive, can similarly lead to problems. A person who is overly proud may find it hard to admit mistakes or accept constructive criticism. They may become defensive when confronted with their shortcomings and insist on maintaining an image of perfection. This unwillingness to acknowledge faults can hinder self-improvement and lead to repeated mistakes. Excessive pride can also prevent individuals from seeking help or guidance, as they may see it as a sign of weakness. As a result, they may miss out on valuable opportunities for growth and support that could have helped them achieve even greater success. One of the biggest dangers of arrogance and pride is the negative impact they have on relationships. Whether in friendships, family, or the workplace, an arrogant or overly proud person can create an environment of tension and resentment. Others may feel undervalued, ignored, or disrespected when dealing with someone who constantly boasts about their achievements or refuses to acknowledge the contributions of others. This behavior can push people away, leading to isolation and a lack of meaningful connections. In professional settings, arrogance and pride can prevent teamwork and collaboration, as the individual may struggle to work with others and accept new ideas. Another consequence of arrogance and pride is the false sense of security they create. Arrogant individuals often believe they are immune to failure and do not need to put in effort to succeed. This overconfidence can lead to complacency and poor decision-making, as they may underestimate challenges and overestimate their abilities. Eventually, reality catches up with them, and they may experience failure that could have been avoided with a more humble and open-minded approach. Excessive pride similarly can prevent individuals from learning from their mistakes, as they refuse to acknowledge their role in setbacks and instead blame others or external circumstances. Overcoming arrogance and excessive pride requires self-awareness and a willingness to change. Recognizing that everyone has strengths and weaknesses and that no one is perfect can help develop a more balanced perspective. Practicing humility, actively listening to others, and being open to constructive criticism can help individuals grow and build stronger relationships. Embracing a mindset of continuous learning and self-improvement rather than focusing solely on past achievements can also contribute to personal development. Ultimately, arrogance and pride, when left unchecked, can lead to isolation and missed opportunities. However, by cultivating humility and recognizing the value of others, individuals can achieve greater success, build stronger relationships, and lead a more fulfilling and balanced life.